Hi friends, thank you so much for coming back for another video. Today I am doing pastel French tips using the gel method, and this was inspired by Steph at Nailed by SRF on Instagram. I saw her take on this and I was obsessed and knew that I wanted to recreate it. So I initially was going to do them with dip liquids, but since my last video was with dip liquids, I thought I would switch it up to gel. And I always get a little nervous doing the French tips with gel because I'm afraid it's going to smudge, but this actually worked out really nicely. So I have a little French dip, or not French dip, French tray. So I pour my dip powder into this and then use it to kind of guide my nail. You can dip right into the jar, and I show that on, I think it's my ring finger, so you'll see that too. So I'm just doing a layer of my gel base and then just kind of sliding my finger into the dip at a little bit of an angle and then just rocking it side to side. So since I have this kind of almond shape, I want it to go down farther on the sides instead of it being kind of more of a straight line across. This is totally preference. You can do it thin, thick, however you want. I love this little tray because you can see it has little different slides that you can take out. The top one is the easiest to use for actually doing the French tips, but then I'm pouring over my classic rose water that I use on pretty much every mani that has a design or anything like that. I just love it. So right after I dip, I pour that one right over, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on my pinky. So you're just doing a nice full layer on your whole nail. I currently have builder gel on, and I did peel base over these. I'm so excited because my builder gel is finally here, but it also came a lot faster than I expected. I was anticipating it to be here the end of this month, so when it came, I was so excited and got it on the site immediately. So I will share the link for that. I am obsessed with it, and you'll probably hear me talking about it all the time. My next video is how I do a builder gel fill, and it took me like no time. The formula of the builder gel is really nice. It's not too thick, so it's very self-leveling, easy to use, and easy to not like bulk up your nails. I just really love it. So again, I just dipped my finger in there and was kind of I rock it side to side. And then I pour over again. Then I cured those both for 30 seconds because I didn't want to smudge it or get my other dip powder on it. You can see in the picture that I've posted first, there are going to be different colors on the tips. This is Brewski from my Midwest Life collection, and I love it so much. It's such a pretty turquoise, and I was only going to do it on one finger, and I accidentally did it on both. It was going to be the blue from that collection, but I totally messed up, but I love how it turned out. So the second layer is a little bit easier because you kind of have a guide to go off. So I'm just dipping it the same way that I did the first time, only getting where it already has the Brewski dip on it. So you can see it, I'm kind of like tipping it down because you don't want to get the blue on the part where it's not supposed to go. Then I'm just taking a little cuticle pusher tool and cleaning it up so that the line is a little more perfect. And then I'm pouring over the rose water. Sorry, I ended up getting out of frame a few times in this video. I don't know what was going on, but I'll try to still explain what I'm doing. I sped it up a little bit just because it's the same process. But again, you just go over it and do the same thing. The gels worked really well with this. I loved that I had time to clean up, as you could see that I did. And yeah, I didn't have any problems with it buckling or smudging at all. So yeah, I would definitely recommend trying this with gels if you have been hesitant. So again, I'm just cleaning off if I got any on my skin so that the powder wouldn't go on there, and just rocking it side to side, getting it as deep as I would like it. After I cure that again for 30 seconds, I'm just brushing it off. with a stiff brush, and I'm going over this with a layer of my gel base and curing so that when I go in with my other color, I'm not going to get it mixed in and get the other color on this one. So I like to do that to just protect the ones that I already did. It might take a little extra time because you're kind of breaking up the process, but I would rather do that than mix up the colors. So I'm doing this in preparation for filing and buffing. This just gives it a little extra layer. Once it's cured, I wipe it off with rubbing alcohol. I also clear out this little container with my paper towel with rubbing alcohol, and it gets it perfectly clean and ready for my other dip. This one is, oh my goodness, now I have to remember all the colors that I used. I will link it because my brain is not working, so I can't really even think of what color this one is. This is the really light yellow. These are all from my Midwest Life collection, by the way. And yeah, I don't remember the name of this one. Sorry about that. But I'm just going in, doing the exact same thing. And I was really happy how this turned out. I was going for like a robin's egg look with like the little speckles from the foils. I know that Steph, I think she used a gel topper to get that look. So it's definitely a different look than what hers is, but I really like how it turned out. And it's been fun trying to recreate different manis because we all have our own take on things, even if we are going for the same look. It's just fun to see how they turn out a little different and might not look like what you had envisioned or even what you saw, but I still ended up loving it. And I really was tempted to leave it as is without the foil topper because I just really loved the look of the pastel tips and they looked super cute. So I might do that in the future. I feel like it'd be fun to do like a neon one. So yeah, it's so fun for me to try out new things and to branch out from just doing like a basic manicure like I did last time. So here I'm just going through the same process, doing my different colors, and this pink is the Whelp. So that is a thermal color. You can't really tell when it's just on the tip of my nail, but it's a really pretty like rosy pink to a lighter pink. So it's super pretty, and it would obviously be more apparent if it was on my full nail. So I am thinking of doing things a little bit differently with my site. It's been pretty overwhelming lately for me when I have so many colors and I don't have them all mixed up already. So a lot of times when I'm filling an order, I am mixing each jar individually as I go, and it can take forever. So a lot of my popular colors I already have pre-made and ready to fill, but with the ones that are not so popular, I don't. So I'm thinking of retiring quite a few of my colors and just having a main line where I keep those stocked all the time. And then when I do new releases, they'll be more of a limited release, if that makes sense. Like I'll mix up a bunch, and when it's gone, unless they become super popular, and then I'll add those to the main line. So I would love to hear what you think about that. If there's any colors you want me to for sure keep. Yeah, I just feel like I need to simplify a little bit. I think I just went a little too hard, too fast, and it's become really overwhelming for me. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. So you could see with my last finger, I did it in the jar, and it is harder. I didn't like how it turned out as much. You can't get as good of an angle. So I would recommend hopping on Amazon and getting one of those if you like to do the French tip. I also like to use it just for when I'm doing the pour over method because you can take out the different slots. I think there's 3 of them. So yeah, I really like it for pouring over. It's really easy to use and really easy to clean instead of getting a bunch of cupcake liners. I do like to use those and reuse them, but then sometimes they get stained and I don't want to contaminate my dips. So here I am going over this one again. I am just doing 2 coats for each nail of each color, and then I'll go in with my base and then do the top coat. I think I got out of frame a few times and I had to cut out a little bit, but I figured I got the gist of how to do these French tips. And really, it's not that difficult. Like, you have to get the hang of it, and once you do it a few times, you'll get it. I had a hard time before because I wasn't putting a base layer with it. So I was like trying to do a glitter ombre with gel, and so I would just do the glitter, and then the part that didn't have glitter on it stayed sticky and got all weird. So you definitely want to have a base color that you're using at the same time. So like how I'm using rose water. So again, I'm just kind of sliding my nail in there and rolling it side to side. I'll let you watch for a little bit. So now I'm going in with that topper. This is called Black Tie Affair, and this is from my In the Nudes collection. So this is just a black foil in clear dip base. So you can see I'm kind of placing some of the pieces. I couldn't find my tweezers, so I'm just using my nails to get it. Totally worked. I was actually not sure if this would work because a lot of times clear dip powder with gel don't work nicely. So the gel, for whatever reason, it can look really cloudy if you try to do clear dip powder over it. So I was a little bit nervous, but it ended up working out fine. So I cured that for 30 seconds and then I'm wiping it off. I wasn't sure how I felt about it here. I almost didn't do the rest of it, but I thought I would stick with it and see how it turns out. And I end up really liking how it turned out, so I'm glad that I stuck with it. I was just, I was looking at the picture and it was super small little dots, but I mean, this is a totally different product that I'm using than what she did. So once I got that out of my head and just went with it, it worked out. So here I'm just placing the pieces where I want them to go, and I sped it up again because you get the gist of it. But this also is a good way, you can see how to use a foil dip. I always pour them out and then I kind of shimmy the thing that they're in, whether that's a cupcake liner or one of these trays, and then I lay my nail into it. And then once it's up, I pat them down so that they're nice and smooth. That way, when you go to do your filing and buffing, you're not struggling more than you have to, and they're already laying nice and flat. The foils I use in my dips are super light and fluffy, so they should lay down very nicely and should make your life easier and not have to struggle with them too much. So you can use a stiff brush for foils, or you can use a fluffy brush. It's going to give you a different look. The stiff brush obviously is going to take more of them off, and the fluffy one is going to leave them more intact. So with this, you can see again, I just lay it in there and then I'm patting them. The gel is going to soak that up, so you'll be able to place the dips or the foils where you want them, since it'll still be a little bit wet. Okay, look how pretty it is though with just the tips. I love it. It totally changes the look. I feel like it makes it more edgy with these foils on top, and I really like that. So just depends with the look that you're going for. So all of them, I'm just gonna do one layer of this and then just kind of placing the foils where I want them if they're not exactly how I want. And you can totally do this. Even if you've already cured it and then say you brush off too many, you can just easily dot where you want your foils to be and put them on individually, and it will work totally. I love these too because they actually didn't bleed for me. And if you're going to be using dip liquids with these, you definitely want to encapsulate with clear, because if you put activator on these, they will lose their color totally and it'll bleed everywhere. But with any kind of foils, you want to encapsulate. So if you're doing gels, then you want to encapsulate it with your base gel. And if you're using dip liquids, then you definitely want to encapsulate with a layer of clear. And I'm just patting it all down. I did a manicure with these, I think with Glam Queen and just Peachy, and they looked so pretty. So they go with any color, and I just love them. So you can see here, I'm brushing them off with more of a fluffy brush first, and then kind of getting it that more textured look with the more stiff brush. So I like how that ended up looking, and it did give me like the little flakes and like almost little specks, which is what I wanted. But if you want to keep them more intact, then do it with just a fluffy brush. So here I am encapsulating it with that clear, or with my gel base. I took out where I did my filing and buffing, but I did that all before this layer. So they're already filed, shaped, and buffed before I do this layer. You could do it after. I just didn't want to mess with the foils or anything, and I thought it would be best to get them all ready and then do the foils right on top. I decided to go in with a matte coat, and the one that I have, I was testing out from my supplier. It was not matte, so I don't know if I got the wrong thing or what happened. So I'm just using my Igel matte top coat. I don't know if it's Hema free, so I was a little bit nervous, but I was fine. So the matte top coat, they're just so cool because obviously when you're putting it on, it looks shiny, but then as soon as it starts curing at all, it totally becomes matte and just changes the whole look, and I really like it. I've been into the matte nails lately. If you're doing dip powder, you can actually keep them matte by just not doing the top coat. So after you do your second layer of activator, you can just leave it there and it will be matte. It's not going to give you the exact same look as a gel matte top coat, but it still will do the job for you, and I haven't had any issues doing that. Speaking of gels, I have some delicate liquids that, did I say gels? Speaking of dips, my brain, you guys, it's fried. I have some delicate dip liquids that I'm going to be testing out, and hopefully will be available to buy in bulk if I like them. So I will keep you posted on that. I know a lot of people have been looking for those where they don't have the strong odor and are extra good for people with dip flu. My regular ones are already really good that way, but this could be a better option. So here they are, just adding some of my cuticle oil that I always add. I'm adding this to my nails multiple times a day. It is very important. So here it is. I hope you like it. Let me know if you try this and what else you would like to see next. Thank you so much for watching.